the manager of the Yankees. And Joe, you just had the opportunity to listen to about a half an hour worth of Derek talking about his decision. What was your takeaway from the press conference?
I thought it was vintage Derek. It's about the team, and he does not want to be a distraction, and his whole goal is to win another championship and to have a great year and walk away on his own terms. So, I think his focus is great, and people that are concerned that this is going to be a distraction, I'm not.
Joe, you knew coming into the season he would be 40 years old, turning 40 during the season. How surprised were you by this announcement, when he did it, the way he did it?
I think we were all a little taken aback because I thought he'd probably evaluate season by season to see where he was at and if he wanted to continue to play. But he talked about there's other things that he wants to do in his life, and we all understand that. And he talked about family and having a nephew and how enjoyable that is, and I understand that as well with 3 young kids myself. So I just think there's things he wants to do in his life, and he's going to go do them.
Joe, you mentioned how Derek wants to focus on the team. He doesn't want to talk about his legacy or his place in history, so I'm going to let you do it. Yeah. You look at all that he has accomplished, where does this guy rank among Yankee greats?
Well, I think he's one of the greatest of all time, and I think you'll see him enshrined in the Hall of Fame, and there's probably a lot of things of his at Yankee Stadium, and what he's meant to this organization, the championships, the attitude that he has brought to this, to the years, since really 1996 when he's been here. It's remarkable, the success that he's had during the postseason, with all the hits and the RBIs and the big hits. I mean, he's a classy guy, he's a humble guy, but he's also very clutch.
Joe, I know he's had a lot of great moments, but is there one in particular that really stands out to you?
Yeah, the moment is not such a moment of winning a championship or a hit, or it was him coming out of the stands bloodied when he dove for the ball, because I think that's what Derek was all about. Do whatever it takes to win. And we saw that from year to year, and never wanting to come out of games and never wanting to rest and giving everything he had every year. And that's who he was.
Joe, as you go into the season and now you know that this is it for him, how does that impact in any way that you will be managing him?
I don't think it will really impact how I manage him, because my job is to get the most out of him and the most out of our club. But I think I'll enjoy his presence more, knowing that this is the last year, and I'll try to soak it in.
Can you imagine a Yankees baseball team without Derek Jeter on the roster?
It seems like for the last 4 years you've kind of said that, you couldn't imagine without Jorge, and then it was without Andy, and then it was without Mo, and now it's going to be without Derek. And it's hard, and it will really set in when we go to spring training next year in 2015 that he's not here, when he doesn't come out, the first day that position players are here.
He talked about expectations. They're always the same. We want to win it all. You look around that clubhouse, Jeter is a constant, but there are a lot of other new faces in there. What are your thoughts about what Jeter and this team can do in 2014?
Well, we're excited. We're excited about the club that we've assembled. With the Steinbrenner and Brian and his staff, what they've assembled, and that's our goal, is to win a championship. And Derek stated it, the first day the position players got here, what our goals are.
Joe, have you watched him work out at all yet? Have you seen him yet? How's he looking as far as weight?
I have not, but physically I think he looks great. He looks like he's more comfortable walking around, and what I've seen, and I'm anxious to see it tomorrow.
Joe, what do you think it means to him? He was asked this question during the press conference. To play 20 years and to be the shortstop, to never have to leave that position, and a guy who will leave here having played the same position for the same team, that's very rare.
I think it means a lot to him, and I think that was one of his goals in his career, to be a Yankee for life, and he's been able to achieve that goal, and that's not by accident. That's by the work that he's put in the level that he has maintained year after year, and he's been a wonderful player, a wonderful teammate, and a wonderful player to manage.
He said he's not thinking too much about what's going to happen after this season, but can you see him being involved in baseball in some way, shape, or form?
I think he will, and I think he'll stay involved in the Yankees if it was my guess, because I think he's talked about his goal as a little boy was to be a Yankee for life, and I think he'll give back. I think he'll get really involved with his charity, even more involved than he is now. But there's other things that he wants to do, so who knows?
Joe, you said that this won't be a distraction. How do you guarantee that this team, which has its own focus and wants to go forward and make the postseason after what happened last season, how do you make sure that that doesn't happen?
Well, I think you have one of the best people in handling distractions spearheading it. Derek does not want to be a distraction. He does not want it to be about him. I mean, you heard him in the press conference. He was trying to kick us out and go practice more. Little did he know we all got up a little bit earlier so we could be in there. But I think he'll handle it with grace, and I don't think he'll let it become a distraction.
Joe, I know you said you'll check in with him every day. His health is first and foremost. But you maybe push him a little bit more if he says, I want to go. Other years where you would have said, I'm going to give you a day off, maybe let him go knowing it's his last year?
Well, I think you have to be careful knowing that the prize is really at the end of the year. And you have to be smart. And, you know, sometimes you're forced to push players a little bit more than you have to. And I won't be afraid to do that with Derek. I won't. But I'll just manage him like I have every other year.